The first thing that shattered Harper's breath that night wasn't the cold December wind slipping in through the restaurant doors. It was the sudden realization that the man she had waited for wasn't coming. Not now. Not ever. The soft glow of Christmas lights reflected off the untouched glass of water before her, and every passing minute felt like another tiny fracture in a heart that had already endured too many this year. The restaurant around her buzzed with laughter, clinking glasses, and families reunited for the holiday season, but Harper felt like she was floating in another world entirely, silent, forgotten, invisible. She had dressed with quiet hope, wearing a navy sweater her sister insisted would make her look warm but confident, hoping that maybe, finally, something good might happen. Instead, she was left staring at the empty seat across from her, wondering why she had allowed herself to hope at all. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the unexpected ways life can turn around, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your support helps these stories reach others who may need them. Harper wasn't angry. Anger had burned itself out long ago after her last breakup. She was simply tired, weary in a way that even the holiday sparkle couldn't lift. The blind date had been her sister's idea, a gentle push to remind Harper that her life wasn't over just because her plans had fallen apart. She had said yes only to please her sister, never imagining she'd be abandoned at a table set for two on Christmas week. With every laugh from a nearby family, a quiet ache settled deeper inside her. She had spent the past year rebuilding herself after heartbreak, learning to stand on her own, but moments like this made her wonder if God truly had a plan for her or if she was simply destined to watch life happen from the sidelines. Harper pulled in a slow breath, steadying herself before she gathered her purse to leave. But just as she tightened her grip on the leather strap, a tiny hand rested against hers. Startled, she turned, and found a little girl no older than 3 standing beside her chair, staring up at her with wide hazel eyes full of innocence and concern. The child's blonde curls bounced around her cheeks, and she wore a white dress sprinkled with tiny silver dots, as if she had stepped right out of a snowflake. The girl didn't speak a word, not a single sound, yet her presence felt like a whisper from heaven. Before Harper could understand what was happening, the girl's small fingers wrapped warmly around her hand, grounding her in a way she hadn't felt in months. The world, which had felt so heavy just a moment earlier, shifted almost imperceptibly, like turning a page of a book she didn't realize she'd been waiting to read. The girl's mother came rushing over, breathless and apologetic, clearly worried her child had wandered where she shouldn't. Harper could see warmth and embarrassment mingled on the woman's face, but the child remained where she stood, unmoving, holding Harper's hand as if to keep her from drifting away into loneliness. Something about the moment tugged deeply at Harper, perhaps the innocence, perhaps the sincerity, or perhaps the way the girl's presence filled a quiet emptiness inside her. Harper assured the mother that everything was fine, and though the woman gently tried to coax her daughter back, the little girl stubbornly kept holding Harper's fingers. For the first time all evening, Harper felt the corners of her lips lift in a real smile. The mother noticed it too, how that small touch had softened something in Harper, and gave a knowing, gentle look. In the bustle of Christmas dinners and families celebrating, the 3 of them lingered at Harper's table. The mother introduced herself as Claire, explaining with a sheepish smile that her toddler, Grace, had a habit of wandering toward people she sensed needed a friend. Harper felt her throat tighten at that, because somehow, impossibly, Grace had been right. The little girl studied Harper with a seriousness that didn't quite fit her age, her fingers playing absent-mindedly with Harper's ring as if grounding her in the present moment. As minutes passed, Harper found herself opening up in ways she rarely did with strangers. She shared the truth, that she'd been stood up, that holidays had felt lonelier lately, that she'd been trying so hard to believe life still had surprises left for her. Claire listened with compassion, no judgment, no pity, just quiet understanding. She, too, was navigating life as a single mother, learning to rebuild her world after things she never expected. The 2 women, seated in a warm booth under soft lights, began to share pieces of their stories, connecting in a way neither anticipated. Grace eventually crawled onto the seat beside Harper, leaning against her with childlike trust. Harper felt something inside her, long dormant, gently reawaken, something tender, protective, hopeful. She hadn't realized how much she missed feeling connected to another soul until that moment. It wasn't romantic, and it wasn't meant to fill the void her date left, it was something far deeper, something healing. As they talked, the restaurant staff, touched by the unfolding scene, brought extra warm rolls to their table, smiling knowingly as Grace reached eagerly for one. The atmosphere around them seemed to soften, as though the universe had paused to give Harper this unexpected gift. Christmas music played faintly overhead, melodies about hope, love, new beginnings, and Harper felt those lyrics settle into her heart in a new way. She wasn't alone, not really. Life had an uncanny way of sending the right people at the right moment, even if they arrived in the form of a curly-haired toddler with a stubborn grip and a heart full of light. When Claire suggested they all share dinner together, Harper hesitated only briefly before agreeing. It felt right, almost divinely orchestrated. They talked about small things, holiday traditions, favorite desserts, childhood memories, but also heavier truths. Claire admitted how hard single motherhood could be, how she feared she wasn't enough for her daughter. Harper shared how she had lost herself in a broken relationship and had been trying ever since to find joy again, to trust again, to believe again. Each confession made the air between them honest, tender, sacred. Grace eventually fell asleep curled against Harper's arm, and Harper felt a quiet peace wash over her. She brushed a small curl from the girl's forehead, realizing that this night, this unexpected twist in her story, was exactly what she had needed. Not a blind date. Not forced hope. But genuine connection, human kindness, and a reminder that God sometimes sends comfort in the smallest of vessels. As the evening came to a close, Harper helped carry a sleeping Grace to Claire's car. She felt a gentle ache at the thought of saying goodbye, not because she was losing something romantic, but because she was saying farewell to the little piece of healing she hadn't known she needed. Claire hugged her warmly, promising they'd stay in touch, that this wasn't just a passing moment but the beginning of something meaningful. Harper believed her. For the first time in a long while, she believed in something again. Standing in the softly falling snow outside the restaurant, Harper looked up at the Christmas lights lining the street. They seemed brighter than before, shimmering with renewed promise. She realized that tonight hadn't been about being stood up. It had been about being found, by a child with a heart full of grace, by a woman who understood struggle, by a moment divinely woven to remind her she wasn't forgotten. This night changed the direction of Harper's life. Claire and Grace became constants, friends, family in every way that mattered. Through them, Harper found her way back to hope, to laughter, to a belief that love, of all forms, was still written in her story. That Christmas didn't bring romance, but it brought something even more profound: connection, healing, second chances. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, subscribe, and help us spread more stories that remind the world of the goodness still left in it. Before the video ends, comment below: hope finds us when we least expect it.